This is Sig Sauer, P220 First Gen American, the firearm that started a brand. As another addition to our, I guess almost antiques, but collectibles edition, we have the Sig Sauer P220. This is a first gen American version of the firearm. Conveniently, I have two of the original magazines, which are, I want to say 7-round magazines. We're about to find out. And then two extended capacity magazines, which I think are 8-round magazines. And one of these I can only get 7 in, so I guess it doesn't really count. What we'll do is, in going in clockwise order, starting at the top left-hand target, we'll do the first magazine at the top left-hand bullseye of our 4-square target, second magazine at the top right, third magazine at the bottom right, fourth magazine at the bottom left. Here we go. We'll do the two original magazines first. Now this firearm has a decocker, so we're going to call it a duty firearm where you could carry it with the hammer down. I don't see a safety, so it does not look like it has a safety. This one would be designed to be carried in the holster with the hammer down, where your first shot is that long double action trigger pull. Let's see if we can put a hit on that top left target using that double action trigger as our first shot. Here we go. Okay, our first shot was maybe 2 inches to the right of the bullseye. 3 of our next shots are in the bullseye. 3 of the other shots are a little below the bullseye. 1 of them a little low of the target, that's just me. Both the single action and the double action triggers on this firearm, I would say, are better than many of the modern double action to single action triggers today, which is probably why I put one of those shots a little low. I didn't expect it to be so short and light on the reset. Let's see how the second magazine goes with the wind picking up on us. Okay, our first shot, I feel like we maybe threw wide to the right. I'm not sure. We'll have to review target cam. Though our next 6, we have a fairly decent group out there. Let's do the extended magazine that only holds 7 at the bottom right. Here we go. For all of these magazines, we're going to do that first shot double action. Okay, that was terrible. That was me. I can't tell if that's 1 or 2 in the bullseye, a couple below the bullseye. I feel like I was out of rhythm on that magazine and shot poorly as a result. Here we go, magazine 4. Let's see if we can get back into rhythm. Okay, it looks like our groups, other than magazine 3, where I kind of crapped the bed there, are all fairly comparable. Both the single action and double action trigger, like I was saying, much better than I remember or expected here today, which that's always a good sign. Another difference on this firearm that takes a little getting used to is Many of the firearms we shoot have a 3-dot sight system with a dot in the front, 2 in the back, where you line up the dots in a horizontal line. This firearm has what I call a double dot snowman style sight, where it has 1 dot in the front, one, I guess it's technically a line in the back, and you line those 2 up vertically instead of what we normally shoot on the firearm with the horizontal dots. So that's another difference here. Though with these sights being replaceable, if you're not a fan of those sights, you can replace them. And to be honest, I don't know if this firearm still comes with these sights. It wouldn't surprise me if the ones sold today, the newer ones that have the tactical rail and whatnot, if they probably have some type of tritium, like the SIG Light night sights or something on them. Anyway, let's reload and maybe do one more set of magazines.
The Sig Sauer P220 is a single-stack, magazine-fed, semi-automatic pistol chambered in .45 ACP. The firearm uses a modified version of the Browning tilt barrel action that SIG refers to as the Sig Sauer system. It is external hammer-fired. The trigger is double action to single action, and it has a decocker without an external safety. The barrel is 4.4 inches of carbon steel, while the firearm has an overall length of 7.7 inches, height of 5.5 inches, width of 1.5 inches, and weighs in around 31.7 ounces unloaded. While there are updated versions of the P220 that have been out for years, these early versions are collectible in my book for a few reasons. The P220 was designed by SIG and produced in collaboration with J.P. Sauer and Son. It began the Sig Sauer relationship. The .45 ACP version that we're shooting here today was introduced in 1976 and was one of the first pistols to have a double action to single action trigger without a safety. These original P220s have a stamped steel slide and is one of the first pistols to use the simplified version of the Browning tilting barrel system referred to as the Sig Sauer system. In its day, it was extremely popular with various U.S. law enforcement agencies. While that double action to single action trigger took some training to get used to, the firearm was otherwise regarded as very easy to use and to train others to use. The double action trigger off my gauge comes in at approximately 9 pounds, while the single action trigger is around 3 pounds 10 ounces. The decocker is on the left side of the frame and is easy to operate with a downward swipe of one's thumb. With manufacturer magazines in the 7-round, 8-round, and 10-round capacity, by today's standards, the P220 doesn't have spectacular capacity, but the single-stack nature of the firearm means it's easier to hold in many people's hands who otherwise find a double-stack .45 to be fat. Cleaning and maintenance on the P220 is extremely simple. Lock the slide back on an empty chamber, press down the takedown lever, and you can easily remove the slide from the firearm to field strip the firearm for cleaning and maintenance.
I have reloaded the original magazines with 7 rounds in each magazine. This is Winchester USA Valor Series 230 grain full metal jacket ammunition. We'll do both these magazines without gloves at the bottom right target on our target that looks like it needs the most help. First shot will be double action. The next 13 will do single action. Here we go. Tactical reload. I would say based on the ICU hole now on that target, we did much better this time around. The Sig Sauer P220 first gen firearm like we're shooting in today's video While it might not be the most collectible firearm in history in terms of dollar value, in terms of the story it tells, both in its place in development history as well as some people's personal history, I think it will always have an interesting story to tell. Mine certainly occupies a cherished place in my collection. This P220 happens to be the first centerfire pistol that I ever owned. Many people regard it as being a very accurate firearm, and I can certainly support that. Back in my early zombie shooting days, when this was my only pistol, it was my backup pistol for when my primary 1022 went down during a zombie shoots, and as luck would have it, one day my 1022 failed me, and I had to do the contest using my classic SIG P220. Even though I was going up against everyone else who had double stack high capacity Glocks, and I barely had enough rounds to engage all the targets, meaning I got my butt kicked in terms of the times, I was able to complete the day, engage all of the targets, and do so with 100% accuracy, which I don't think many others could actually say in that high volume, accuracy by volume type of contest. So I had that going for me. But either way, while I didn't win the day in terms of speed, I didn't have a do not finish, so I had that going for me, which is nice. All in all, I think the SIG P220 is an excellent single stack 45 ACP pistol. It's extremely accurate, very reliable, easy to clean and maintain, and built to be rugged and tough. It's an excellent firearm that if you're a fan of the 45 ACP and you want something that's in a single stack nature, I'd keep an eye out for the classic P220. Well, anyway, that seems like the perfect spot to end today's video. If you enjoyed the video, like it, share it with your friends and family, maybe even drop a comment on there. Those things are free and they help the channel greatly. Fred and I really appreciate you getting this far. Thanks for watching, and as always, have a good day.